Hey guys, I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I missed the upload. But I'm back today, and there's something you need to see in the WNBA.
The Indiana Fever got busted twice in only a week.
That is the layout from Ticketmaster.
This is real. This really happened.
Everything in the blue had tickets available for this game. $12 and $13 tickets for this game. Fans are not happy with the direction of the franchise, and they're not happy with what happened last year. And they are showing it.
Those seats are really empty. This ain't AI. I watched the game.
Can y'all just act like one of the top franchises in the league? This is embarrassing.
Remember what Indiana Fever tickets looked like in 2024. Demand exploded overnight. Fans flooded online queues, resale prices soared, and a once quiet arena became the most coveted seat in women's basketball. People traveled across the country for one reason: to witness Caitlin Clark in person, and the energy around the franchise felt undeniable.
Caitlin Clark showing up anywhere be a sellout. This is alarming. People just not excited about the product.
How can they get the most out of the Caitlin Clark effect doing the absolute bare minimum?
Kelly Kroskoff and Amber Cox, they have to be given a special salute for helping to destroy that. All these women on this stage are used to empty stadiums. This is nothing new.
Now, jump ahead to the 2026 preseason, and the contrast is impossible to miss. The Fever's game against Nigeria shows rows of available seats, bargain-level ticket prices, and a visible drop in urgency around the team. This is no longer just about attendance. It signals a deeper story about how a franchise and the culture around it mishandled the biggest star the sport has ever had.
Clark fans being attacked by Indiana Fever reporter. If Clark keeps shooting like she did in the Fever's preseason opener versus the Dallas Wings, ESPN will have to rethink its rankings of the top 50 players in the WNBA. Are you mad that you got suspended because you was telling her to send you heart signs and all that like a creep?
Empty seats, $12 and $13 tickets available. Guys, that was not happening in the past.
The empty seats are not just a visual, they are a response. To understand why, you have to go back to April 2024, when Caitlin Clark entered the league and instantly changed its scale. Ratings surged, arenas sold out across the country, and even opposing home games were packed with fans who came specifically to see her. In a matter of weeks, the Indiana Fever went from irrelevant to one of the most talked about teams in all of sports.
Indiana Fever put out a statement about their fan base. This statement is so generic that you can take this statement and you can apply it to every single fan base that's ever existed. This isn't a moment, it's a pattern. A team that refuses to be ordinary, a fan base that refuses to shrink, and a state that does things its own way. So if you're just noticing us, here's the truth. What you're seeing isn't a phase. We're not going away. This is Fever basketball. Now you know. Which fans are you referring to? Fever fans or Caitlin Clark fans? 100% AI generated. Y'all are shit.
On the court, Clark delivered everything people had hoped for and more. She played with the poise of a veteran, produced historic numbers for a rookie guard, and made the game feel larger every time she touched the ball. Casual viewers, die-hard basketball fans, and first-time WNBA audiences all tuned in, and the ratings proved it. She didn't just help the league grow, she shifted its entire center of gravity.
Caitlin Clark fans are under fire. Once again, Greg Doyle has officially taken a page out of the Scott Agnes profile, and he's looking to assassinate Caitlin Clark fans. After ESPN ranked the WNBA's top 50 players, Caitlin Clark fans erupted online. Hours later, Clark erupted against Dallas in a preseason loss. Are you mad that her fans are actually passionate and actually care about watching these games? They care about the product that they are paying.
What highlight packages often miss was the punishment she absorbed from the moment she stepped onto the floor. Clark was hit harder, more often, and with more consistency than most stars in the league, while many of those moments passed without meaningful protection from officials. The pattern felt unmistakable. Make the star uncomfortable, wear her down, and force her to pay for every possession. Through it all, she kept getting up and kept competing.
Greg Doyle has come out and taken crazy shots at Indiana Fever fans. This isn't the first time we had an Indiana Fever insider disrespect. They see only what they want to see, which means they didn't see what many of us saw from Caitlin Clark last season, when she was injured repeatedly but played just enough 13 games to turn in the worst shooting season of her career by a large margin. Are you mad that you got suspended because you creeped her out?
When Caitlin Clark arrived, the Fever were handed a once-in-a-generation opportunity. They had the player, the audience, the sponsors, the national attention, and the momentum most franchises spend decades chasing. But instead of building aggressively around her, the organization appeared to coast, failing to scout creatively, failing to shape the roster around her strengths, and relying on Clark's popularity to cover for a lack of vision.
The Indiana Felines are struggling to sell season tickets.
Sorry, I'm not spending any of my hard-earned money to make the Fever franchise any money. I will buy Caitlin Clark merch all day long, but I'm not spending one penny buying Fever merchandise or buying tickets. Sorry, you guys screwed that up.
Constantly ruining her brand and then beg people to buy tickets. No, thank you.
What's going on with Caitlin Clark's back?
She's not completely healthy.
That sure looks like a back brace.
You're going to put a back brace on her on national TV? That's absolutely ridiculous.
A lot of people will say, well, let's wait and see what the Fever say. Really? After blowing smoke up your ass all year last year, you're just going to hear what they got to say and blindly follow?
That lack of vision showed up clearly in the preseason game against Nigeria. When Indiana's bench units were on the floor, the drop-off was dramatic, and the team's lack of depth became impossible to ignore. If the supporting cast struggled to separate in that setting, it raised a bigger question about how sustainable this roster really was over a full season. For fans, the cheap tickets and half-empty arena became a clear judgment on how badly this situation had been managed.
Like you've got a better all-around team. If Caitlin Clark is not on the court, Stephanie White will tell you yes.
The WNBA is trying to kill Caitlin Clark with paper cuts.
She believes the team is better without the most dynamic playmaker in all of the WNBA and in women's sports not on the court.
It was announced that the Indiana Fever would have all 44 games televised on national TV.
There's no way Caitlin Clark shouldn't have been in the front of this damn flyer to saying all 44 games.
We're going to continue to prioritize the locker room and the chemistry in the locker room and the continuity.
If Stephanie White believes there is a superstar on this team, she believes it is Kelsey Mitchell, not Caitlin Clark.
All 44 national TV games. And they pictured 3 Indiana Fever players. And Kelsey Mitchell is centered. Kelsey Mitchell is the most important player on the Indiana Fever. She has nothing to do with all 44 Indiana Fever games being on national TV. It's not the Indiana Fever that are getting all 44 of their games on national TV. It's Caitlin Clark who's getting all 44 of her games on national TV. They're killing Caitlin Clark. They hit her with another paper cut.
A lot of the things the Indiana Fever have done signals to them trying to be successful without Caitlin Clark rather than with her. Kelsey Mitchell's the number one priority. Kelsey Mitchell, we want her to be here forever. It seems like they want to win without Caitlin Clark.
Some fans have admitted they are hesitant how after last year CC was handled.
Caitlin isn't your priority, and it shows. We spent thousands last season just to watch her get iced out. No screens, no plays, just standing there in the corner like a decoy. And now the coach thinks she's a combo guard.
The 2025 season was supposed to be Clark's full breakout as an established superstar. Instead, it became a chain of injuries, quad trouble, groin issues, then an ankle injury that reduced her season to just 13 games. Injuries are part of sports, but the context matters. A player who had already endured relentless contact and inconsistent protection was now paying for that wear and tear. What should have been a leap forward became a year of survival. Over the course of a season, unprotected physical play adds up. Hard landings, repeated blows, and contact that goes uncalled eventually take a toll on any athlete's body. The implication here is simple. The lack of protection in year 1 may have helped create the physical breakdown that followed in year 2. One of the clearest tells came when Clark returned in the 2026 preseason and calmly praised the improved Officiating. Between the lines, it sounded like confirmation that she had not been properly protected before. Even after an injury-riddled stretch, she still returned to international play, won MVP, and reminded everyone that elite production follows her wherever she goes. That is why ESPN ranking her 10th felt so jarring, not just as a debate point, but as a failure to properly recognize a generational player. Clark's resume since entering the league has been strong enough to demand serious respect, yet the media ecosystem keeps finding ways to profit from her name while minimizing her standing. That same tension carries into the Greg Doyle story. A columnist whose earlier behavior toward Clark brought national criticism returned not with restraint, but with fresh attacks aimed at her fan base. Framed as analysis, it comes across less like journalism and more like a grudge dressed up as commentary. The fans being dismissed now are the same ones who filled arenas, bought merchandise, traveled to games, and helped bring enormous attention to the league. When you put everything together, the physical targeting, the injuries, the weak roster construction, the media disrespect, and the backlash against her supporters, the frustration behind those empty seats starts to make sense. But the story does not end with decline. It ends with a warning. Caitlin Clark is still here, still producing, and still capable of carrying the sport forward. The real question is whether the franchise and the league will finally decide to support the wave instead of resisting it.